This is the 2026 Model Y Premium Rear-Wheel Drive, part of Tesla's Juniper update. After spending a month of living with it and covering the first 1,000 miles, I wanted to share my thoughts, how it compares to the older new and used Teslas I've lived with before, and whether this base configuration makes sense when you put it next to both used bargains and higher spec new models. So I've owned a bunch of Teslas over the years, including a used high mileage Model Y, so this is an honest review of features, driving, tech, the compromises, and my own opinion on where this car fits. Speaking of those specs, what is this car? It is the Tesla Model Y Premium Rear-Wheel Drive, the single motor rear-wheel drive version. It has the LFP battery chemistry, has around 260 to 270 miles of real-world range, and 5.6 seconds 0 to 60, which isn't as slow as I thought it would be. The wheels are the 19-inch standard, and now they have a bit of tire wall overhang, which is great for avoiding those curbs. The sound system is the base configuration with 9 speakers and no sub, but more on that later. On paper, it looks like the cheap option, but numbers don't tell the full story. It doesn't say how relaxed the car feels, how confident it might be in bad weather, or whether the smaller battery makes it a bad choice. I think that's what matters more than the spec sheets. Visually, the Juniper Model Y doesn't scream a whole new generation, and honestly I like that. As redesigns go, it's quite a big facelift. They've refined a lot of what was already working. The panel gaps are better, the lights look far sharper, and the whole car is more cohesive than early Model Ys from 2020 and 2022. Those older cars sometimes felt a bit more tech first, whereas this feels more grown up. The 19-inch wheels deserve some credit. The performance trim looks far nicer, but on UK roads, they're stiffer and inefficient. These small wheels suit the character of the rear-wheel drive model. Quieter, more forgiving, better for range, although my efficiency in colder weather has been similar to the Model Y performance at 317 watt-hours per mile, which is pretty disappointing. Hopefully, that improves rapidly in spring and summer. Now, it's really not a head-turner, but it's clean, more mature, and feels like Tesla has prioritized comfort alongside technology. Speaking of that comfort, now to the interior. This is where I noticed the biggest improvement over my old Model Y. Early Teslas had a reputation for being minimalist to the point of feeling unfinished. Juniper fixes that without losing the Tesla identity. You get soft touch surfaces all around, better material transitions, less creaking over bumps, a cabin that feels far more premium. The seats are really supportive but not aggressive. If you're looking for the bolster of the performance Model Y, that's not here. If you're coming for a normal SUV, these feel comfortable for hours on end. Rear passengers benefit from really good legroom, a usable rear screen, USB-C charging, and a very flat floor. I expected the rear screen to become a bit of a battle with my daughter, but interestingly, she's barely asked to use it. It's there, but it hasn't turned the car into a rolling iPad, which I actually really appreciate. Tesla's tech remains one of the strongest selling points, and Juniper refines it rather than reinventing it. The 15-inch touchscreen is responsive, simple, genuinely pleasant to use. After using legacy brands, Tesla still feels like a generation ahead. Navigation is quick, charge planning is exceptional, and the system actually understands EV routing in a way most competitors still struggle with. Yes, there's no CarPlay or Android Auto, and that might still annoy a lot of people, but personally, I made peace with that. Tesla's system is considerably better and far more reliable. You get Autopilot here as standard, and Autopilot includes adaptive cruise, lane centering, blind spot camera views, and emergency braking. And I don't know if it's the new hardware or a recent software update, but compared to my older Model Y, the steering behavior feels smoother, a little less twitchy, and doesn't send you towards motorway exits. It gives me more confidence that it won't make that mistake. And for anyone new to Tesla, Autopilot is not autonomous. You still supervise everything, but as a daily driving assistant, it reduces fatigue, especially on those longer trips. Hopefully, we get full self-driving in the UK soon. This is the part I was most curious about. And I've spent years with all-wheel drive Teslas. They spoil you. You press the accelerator and the car just goes, regardless of the weather. With the rear-wheel drive, to put it nicely, you feel more involved. On dry roads, it's smooth, quiet, and perfectly quick enough for normal driving. It's not thrilling, but it's composed. On wet Scottish roads, the difference is clear. Pulling away briskly, the rear works harder. You feel weight transfer, the car is more limited in overall grip. It's not unsafe, but it's more car-like than almost video game traction with the all-wheel drive Teslas. And personally, I miss the all-wheel drive confidence, especially in winter. If you live somewhere very wet and icy, all-wheel drive still makes the most sense. But for most people, rear-wheel drive is okay and more efficient day to day. Now, on to one of the biggest improvements. Older Model Ys could feel crashy and stiff over broken roads. Juniper smooths that out massively. You notice less crashing over potholes, better control over bumps, reduced cabin vibration, and more muted road noise. It finally feels like Tesla's tuned the car for country roads and people with spines. If you've driven older Tesla Model Ys and thought they were more than a bit harsh, this fixes it. So, let's talk about the audio. If I'm really honest, the base audio system is the weakest part of this trim. Coming from my old long range, I noticed it immediately. You lose a lot of depth, the low end presence, and the wide soundstage. At first, the music felt like it was coming from a couple of speakers in the dashboard instead of all around you. But after a few EQ adjustments, more bass, shifting the audio rearward, it's much better. But it's nothing special. If you love music at high quality, the long range and performance trims win by a mile. This is one of the clearest examples of where Tesla differentiates the trims. I'm actually surprised that the smaller battery and lack of a front motor was less of a compromise for me. One thing I've not heard from anyone else is an issue I've had with the cameras. And on this car, the rear-facing fender cameras seem to collect water and dirt way faster than my old Model Y did. In fact, I can't remember ever cleaning my old fender cameras. But with the Juniper, after 1,000 miles, I've cleaned them several times. And that matters because parking visuals depend on them, blind spot view depends on them, Autopilot depends on them. It's not a massive drama, but it's definitely a downgrade that I'm wondering if it's only on my car. Next, LFP on this version. Unlike the NMC packs, LFP can be and should be charged to 100% more regularly. Some assume that it should always be to 100%, but Tesla recommends once a week. And if left for long periods of time at 100%, you will likely see the degradation that you would see in any other battery. But that does change things a little bit. Instead of thinking, should I stop at 80%, you can just charge fully. Real world range lands around about 260 and 270 miles, and because you're charging full once a week or so, you don't notice as big a change if you previously charged your long-range Model Y to 80% daily. However, on road trips, you will notice it. So, what about new versus old? I've clearly had that debate with myself in the last 7 months since I got my used Model Y. Used Teslas still offer ridiculously good value. Older Model Y long-range models give you the all-wheel drive, better audio, more performance, and that lower purchase price. But the Juniper gives you better suspension, far better interior, a refined driving behavior, warranty, and peace of mind. New feels improved all around, but used gets you the most of the experience and is a smarter financial choice. That's the best way I can put it. So this Model Y rear-wheel drive suits people who want comfort over outright speed, affordability over max spec, a relaxed EV experience, LFP charging simplicity, and the modern Tesla tech at a baseline. It's not for people chasing 0 to 60 bragging rights, audiophiles wanting that premium audio, or someone wanting unlimited traction and more sporty handling. It's the grown-up Model Y, not the exciting one. After living with it, here's my honest view. This Model Y premium rear-wheel drive is Tesla's most civilized Model Y yet. Not the fastest, not the flashiest. It fixes a lot of the rough edges from the older Model Ys, especially suspension and cabin refinement, and combines that with Tesla's still excellent tech platform. Do I miss parts of my used Model Y? Yes, all-wheel drive and the audio. Do I enjoy how relaxed this car feels? Absolutely. And that's the thing competitors often miss. Cars aren't just about specs, they're about how little effort they ask from you every day. This one asks very little. So that's my real review of the Model Y. If you're deciding between new and used, I hope this helps you see beyond the numbers and into ownership. Let me know what you would choose in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.